Hello and welcome back to Art Laughs with me, Verity Babs. Today I spoke to Heidi Regan. I'm here today with Heidi. Heidi, please introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Heidi Regan. I am a stand-up comedian, writer, some other, all those things.
You have picked, I don't want to say bleak,
Say
tumultuous
it.
piece for us today.
Sign of the times that I was like barely noticed how bleak it was in this day and age.
This is another day in the park.
Yeah. I'm like, it's nice they're out and about. But it is called Warships in a Heavy Storm by Ludov. I think it's Bakusin. I don't know how it. I think.
Yeah, I did one of those pronounce websites, and they said Backhausen.
Okay, I think there's a lot more research than I did. So yeah, that sounds good. It's from 1695, according to Google.
How do you know this piece?
Okay, so the reason I know this piece, it was something I was looking at recently. I spent a very long time recently in lockdown, like I'm going to say like 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, doing a very in-depth joke, but in-depth film analysis I did of a few films, and this one was Shark Attack 2. I went very deep on it, and I love art metaphors and that, but I don't know art. I don't understand art, but I love reading art blurbs and that. So basically, in my in-depth analysis of Shark Attack 2, I got to theories of like there's a lot of boats. There was a boat motif in the film that I managed to find, and then I managed to tie it to this painting and several other paintings and photographs. And I believe the way I'm very basic, the way I got to that painting was that I had YouTube recommend to me one day The School of Life. Do you know that?
Yeah.
It's like, basic philosophy for basic people like me who need a 2-minute description of everything.
Yeah,
So it was him. It was a thing like 10 most calming paintings or 5 most calming paintings. This was one of them, and he said that it's because when I look at art, I just go like, meh. I don't have a basic appreciation when I first look at an artwork, but I then read the analysis of it, and I love that. And I love how sometimes it feels like a reach, like with poetry or whatever, but it probably is all there. But this one said that it's a storm, and it looks scary and bleak, but the boats are built to handle the storm. So it's a metaphor for life, and about life can be rocky, but if you've got the right boat equipment, if you have a boat, basically.
It's interesting because when you said that it was in the top 5 calming ones, I'm like, that surely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess with the sort of bluer skies coming in from the right, and if you imagine that he's not about to topple left, he's about to sort of boost himself upright again.
Exactly. Yeah. And so it's more like if it was just a calm ocean, if you were a pessimist, you'd be worried about the storm that's coming, whereas here you can see the storm has hit, but they're handling it. So it feels like a painting for 2020, basically.
Yeah, I like that. I'd still argue whether this is calming.
No, yeah, it's and I don't feel calm when I look at it. No. But once I read the analysis or hear someone describe it in a soothing voice, I go, oh yeah, now I feel calm. Just don't look at it. But I think the other one that I tied into it that I said to you as an alternate was it was photographs of called Seascapes, and it's this photographer wanted to make photos that showed what primitive man would have seen. So it was just photos of just a calm, flat sea, no land, no anything. And that's kind of calming in a very existential way, because you're like, yeah, well, we won't exist one day. I guess that's okay. And we didn't used to exist. It's a bleak way of calming you. I'm regretting how I describe this as calm.
Well, I guess landscapes in sort of these centuries of 17th 18th centuries, and do it in America as well, this idea of the sublimes. You get a lot of very small figures standing amongst the enormity of nature, and part of you goes, how wonderful, and the other part of you goes, I'm going to die insignificantly and no one will know.
I'm very happy you said that, because that all came up in my Shark Attack video, because there was because it all tied into that. And then they have a shot in the Shark Attack 2 where they're looking out over South Cape Town, and it's all misty below them, and it looks a lot like the famous painting that is on the front of Frankenstein. So I didn't know anything about the Sublime era and all that, and then from that I got to that, and yeah, it was all very fun to learn all that and how it connects to sharks.
Yeah, because your comedy, I remember, and sharks have been a regular theme.
Well, yeah, I regret every time I do it, because then people are like, yeah, you are obsessed with sharks. And I'm like, I'm not. I just did my first show at Edinburgh. I thought, what's a random thing to pick? And I picked how me and two friends used to love watching bad shark films. So then I used that as a structure to the show, to then talk about trade deals and all really stupid stuff, and do my life story through these shark films. But then I think I just sometimes come back to them. And then in this case, I was doing videos that were all forced metaphors on different films. I was like, I gotta do one shark one. And then this Shark Attack 2, so many metaphors, you wouldn't believe it.
Because you seem to take, whatever the theme is, and it's sort of layers, like you said, when you get stuck in a kind of Wikipedia hole, clicking from article to article, it's really getting to the bottom of each barrel, and there's a barrel underneath it.
There's always another barrel, and then it reminds you of a barrel that was at the start, and you're like, they're all linked.
Yeah. Exactly. But would you say that that's sort of how your mind naturally functions with learning and research and kind of taking in information?
I mean, I don't know if I know how my mind works for learning, but it seems to be like a common thing. I've been writing for years, and a common strength and weakness I have is that I'll get all these layers, and either that will work and people will enjoy how intricate it gets, or I'll lose sight of what that looks like to the audience, and people will say, I don't know where you went with that, which is definitely what that shark show, the first few previews I did, I genuinely had me going into a wiki hole on this projector screen, and it turned into conspiracy theories and all this, and it was me making fun of conspiracy theories while also being blown away by all these connections. So yeah, I think it's apophenia I found when I was researching it. It's that thing where your brain sees links that probably aren't there, which is like conspiracy theorists have it, and it can be very serious and all that, but I think I can see these links and that are probably not there, but I also get very excited. That's why I love reading art analysis, because I just love having an art historian say, oh, and that is like that. And then sometimes you're like, was that a reference to that really? Or did you see that reference? But either way, I'm on board 100%.
That's very true about reading art historical things and then drawing these. No one in any academic book ever says anything with a hint of doubt. It's never, definitely Picasso was thinking this. It's always he was.
Yeah.
And not necessarily I'll prove it, but my tone of voice should have proved it for you.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Question it. It's a bit fake news.
yeah. No, I think that's definitely what it is. And I think I like the videos I made. I was trying to make fun of that, where I was saying stuff very certainly, and you can see the links are just me grasping at straws. But while doing it, I always then go, oh my god, this coincidence is amazing. So yeah, it's the same as like when you're in high school and you first learnt poetry, and the teacher will go, and when they say that, they mean that, and you go, no, they didn't. But then the more, and like I did film studies at uni, and watching them, that was my favorite subject, because the way they would analyze Hitchcock. And I remember us watching Shadow of a Doubt by Hitchcock, and we were giggling at all this, like what we thought was accidental euphemisms being used in the family. And then the film lecturer was like, no, this was all intentional and blah blah, and we were like, whoa. But I can't look at an artwork like that painting of the ships. Looking at that on my own, I've just got no visual eye, so I would just walk straight past that in an art gallery. But I always go straight to the little plaques instead and read that and then go back to it. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because like some galleries are, one of the questions you have to tussle with in my degree was, are the captions that go along with artworks in a gallery a good thing or a bad thing? Because on one hand they sort of suggest that you need to know something to enjoy it, but also by the same token, they are, for a lot of people, they are the way in.
Definitely, yeah. Which side did you come down on, or were you in the middle?
I think at the time I maybe said, we don't need them because there's no right or wrong answers. But then actually when you think about those things on a practical term, I guess it's the same thing as saying, communism is a really good thing and we should do it now. And then going, oh, that's going to take a long time to implement, actually. That's going to take some planning. So I think, the plaques and the captions are serving a purpose. When you look at them theoretically, you go, well, they're interrupting the visual experience, making you have to read words, whereas actually a lot of us need the words.
Yeah. Are you saying like in an ideal world, we would all look at a painting and immediately feel a connection to it and be able to analyze it, and we'd all get communism working right off the bat? But in the real world, both these things are far. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, I think maybe I came up with the middle ground, which was, you don't have anything on the wall, but maybe you're given a booklet so you can use to. Because to a certain extent, if someone sees this painting and they really connect with it, and then when they read about the ins and outs of the Dutch military, they get turned off it, then has served. I'm not sure, but it is tricky. It's that whole question of, even though art galleries are free, that doesn't mean people are going to go visit them, because the accessibility takes more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan, obviously, of the plaques and that, but it would be, I think maybe it'd be like good if you had plaques on some of them, and then the next one you're like, there's no plaque, and that kicks your brain into having to.
Or just sort of key questions or words. I don't know. They always have those for kids.
Yeah.
Sort of National Trust properties, which were, if you were the lady of the manor, which hat would you choose?
Yeah, we should all be given a child's worksheet when we go around the art gallery, and that would help.
You ever use those audio headphones?
I don't use them anymore. I feel like when I first would go to was backpacking and that, and I'd always be with someone who wanted to wear them, and I'd wear them, and I'd get really frustrated by the speed of them. And
it's exactly the same. I have not got a long enough attention span to match how long they think I should be looking at this painting.
I
always find that a bit annoying.
It feels and then you just feel like they're looking down on you if you want to skip to the next one. So
exactly. So I like to switch them into different languages to kill the time.
Yeah. Or they're good at the like National Trust, like the historical houses, when they always have like an actor doing a little act out, I'm the Lord, I was gonna say Lord of the Manor. I don't think they have that accent. But yeah, that kind of thing, yeah.
Under a strange turn of events.
Yeah, I've become Lord. I would never let a man like that be the Lord of the Manor. Yeah.
So is art something that you engage with regularly?
I think sadly only for the purposes of like comedy or things like that. And when I do, I love it. But I love the meaning and metaphors in it. I have zero visual eye at all. I never have anything on my walls unless someone else thinks to put something there. And it's not because I hate artwork. It's just because I don't think of it, and I don't ever. Yeah, I have a really weirdly lacking visual eye. I just don't feel anything when I look at pictures and that. Like my girlfriend's got different photos up around the house and I don't see them basically. So yeah, but then, and I look at a painting, I don't really feel, I can't stand there and go, like in the movies. But then if I read the thing, I go, oh, that's nice. Oh, yeah.
Are you a big reader generally?
I'm a slow reader, so I don't read enough. But yeah, I read, and I really, in the last like 6 or 7 years, I think I read analytical stuff a lot more than fiction and that. So I think that's why I love the art stuff. And I spent a year, a couple of years before I started stand up, because I was writing in all my spare time. And I spent a year making this fake art blog. So I really engaged with it then. And it was like 3 times a week I would make a fake. I went out and took photos of all these sculptures or anything that was public domain, and I would pretend I had this kind of character that was a bit of a mad person, or there was something odd, and I thought that I was doing an artwork about the news each day. So like there would be, it was basically a way of doing satirical jokes but in this weird funnel. So I would, like, the one I can remember is like there was something at David Cameron had done something and it was all messy at Westminster. So I had a photo of the tube and I said that I made an artwork in response to this and pretended I'd created the entire underground system and it was a metaphor for blah, blah, blah. So we'd do that every couple of times a week. And that was just me loving all the art metaphors and forcing in. Like the camera wasn't Matt, it was just a clearly fictional person who just thought they were creating artworks everywhere, and obviously it wasn't. So yeah. But it was a very, like I say, it was those one too many layers. I think it was hard for, like, friends who read it were really into it, but I don't know how accessible it was as a concept. It was me just 3 times a week going, here's an artwork I made about the news, and anyone who didn't know me would have been like, what?
Once you're on board, you'll love it.
Yeah.
You just got to get on board.
Yeah. So yeah, one day I'm going to resurrect it and make it make sense to more than my parents.
Heidi, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you.
Let us know where the best place is to follow you and hear what you're up to.
If you go on Twitter, Heidi_Regan, you'll see the pinned tweet is the exact shark video I talked about. It took a lot of time. I'd love you to look at it and see how much art you can see in it.
Can you spot them all?
Yeah. Is it all bullshit? Yes, it was.
Thanks for watching. You can follow Heidi in the ways written below, and as per usual, you can follow me at VerityBabsArt on Instagram. Please do chuck us a subscribe and a like, etc., and I will see you next time.